The Forsaken clung together for mutual protection and comfort at the end of the Third War. Envoys reached out to what was left of the Alliance at the time, hoping to rejoin their fellows, but this was rejected for some reason. Was the Undeath? It was probably the Undeath. The Forsaken's leader, Sylvanas Windrunner, in truth only really forged the Forsaken and guided them for singular purpose: revenge. All her actions, retaking Lordaeron, forming the Stalkers and the Guard, allowing the Nothrazim Verimothras to survive and assist her, aiding the Blood Elves in joining the Horde, all of this was to aim the Forsaken at the Second Lich King and kill him. Thereafter to take her own life, having concluded. To this end was born the Royal Apothecary Society, though it's worth noting Verimothras had quite a personal hand in this. During their early years, before the campaign into Northrend, before the reopening of the Dark Portal even, the Apothecaries had spent considerable effort meticulously cataloging, testing, and analyzing every deadly substance they could find, all in pursuit of crafting their own version of the Undead Plague, which was technically called the New Plague but is more commonly known as Blight. The Blight's entire purpose is to destroy at a fundamental level. As the Forsaken were well aware, the Scourge had the ability to raise someone into undeath, no matter how battered or broken their body was, both individually or, worse, as a group. Thus, the Blight was intended to kill both body and soul, ensuring the target died and would not be coming back. In the present, the Forsaken committed their entire military to the Northrend campaign, but also sent the most experienced apothecaries to finalize and perfect the Blight for deployment against the Scourge. And, after a few small setbacks concerning the Scarlets, who were also in Northrend because they are cockroaches, everything was ready. Meanwhile, the Horde Alliance force was launching a joint operation at Angrathar, the Wrathgate. This was the frontmost fortification leading into the colossal Ice-Crown Citadel itself. Bolvar Foredragon, former regent of Stormwind and decorated war hero, and Dranosh Sourfang, Varrock's son, whom the adventurers had briefly brushed into in Outland, were spearheading the offensive. These were backed by Thrall's Kor'kron elites and the previously mentioned 7th Legion. This was the best and brightest of the Horde Alliance force, and they were making good headway, forcing the Second Lich King himself to make an appearance. This is about when a Blight canister exploded on the field, launched by apothecary forces under the command of Grand Apothecary Putris. Words cannot convey how calamitous this attack was. The surprise was total. As apothecaries unleashed their Blight on the field, Kor'kron and 7th Legion melted alike. Dranosh and Bolvar both fell in the chaos, and the Second Lich King withdrew. Nearby, Alexstrasza, sensing the assault on life itself, swiftly flew over with her elite drakes to purge the Blight with Aspect Flame, destroying the apothecaries present and sealing the fate of those left in the melting fields. It must be emphasized that this was a sea change for the world. This calculated strike permanently crippled the Horde and Alliance in a way neither would ever recover from, even in future wars, and would mark the beginning of a long, slow decline of people's fortunes back home. It also ensured that one of the strongest military forces on the planet was no longer present to fight the Scourge, or any other future foes. As you might have already surmised, this was all engineered by Verimothras. Sylvanas' neglect in allowing the Nothrazim to both survive and retain a position of authority allowed him to spend years positioning the pieces into place for this ruinous strike against the people of Azeroth. The Horde and Alliance rallied survivors and adventurers and immediately directed everything they had toward Tirisfal, leading to the siege of the Undercity. This was a heroic storm, with Warchief Thrall, Sylvanas Windrunner, Jaina Proudmoore, King Varian Wrynn, and the adventurers of both sides leading a two-pronged attack to clear the Undercity of the Apothecaries, Putris, Demons, and Verimothras. Though successful, this left the Northrend campaign on the precipice of collapse, and in fact, neither force would ever really regain their momentum in the frozen north. Henceforth, all future gains into the roof of the world would be garnered by adventurer grip. There is one other reason this was a sea change, however. Since the Second War, the Horde and Alliance had been at a tenuous peace, and that status had been growing slowly over the years. Between the events of the Third War, the might of Kalimdor, the invasion of Outland, and the Northrend campaign, the two had become something akin to allies. But this assault, the devastation it wrought, and the trust permanently lost, well, the Horde Alliance force was no more. The remnants of this once promising future would now know only conflict for years to come.